Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to give one more minute for folks to log in and we'll get this training started. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first of 4 electronic annual report trainings for reporters related to our 2022 reporting year. My name is Wendy Kilu, and I am the supervisor of the data support unit of the Division of Drinking Water. And our unit has started managing the eAR July of last year. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start this presentation. So today we have our amazing eAR customer service team. Me, I'm supervisor, and we have Gabriela Gutierrez, Jonathan Swady, and Stephen Burke. And we are hoping to provide you a informative training today to help you with your eAR reporting if you are a reporter in this meeting. So ways you can participate today, there's 2 ways. One is to provide a question in the Q&A, and that should be on the toolbar at the bottom or at the top, and I'll say Q&A, and you click that and you can type in your question to us. You can also upvote any question that you would like answered. We will be answering those questions at the end of this presentation. Additionally, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you. And we do ask that you wait to be called on. I don't think anyone can unmute themselves, so I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. And then we ask that we limit the question or the comments to 3 minutes each participant. So some key topics we'd like to discuss today with you all is eAR dates of interest. I'm going to be going over navigating the new website, getting eAR notifications. We're going to talk about the user guidance and the FAQ that we have available to you all, getting assistance with completing the eAR, and then the eAR process, section 1 through 4 review, and going into a little detail on the disadvantaged community fee reduction. And then at the end, we will have comments and questions. So some dates of interest, this is located on our website, which I will go into further in the next few slides. The eAR was released March 13th. You all should have gotten an email from our email announcement system. Or And if you're included as a contact in our database of record, you should receive that message also. Important reporting deadline is May 13th for this report. So we ask that you all submit your reports by that date. The next 4 bullets are the dates of our training brown bags for our reporters. And it describes the sections that we'll be going over and topics. And the registration links are on the site if you haven't registered for the other ones already. The next date of importance is our eAR technical assistance request deadline for if you are requesting assistance through a third-party provider. That application is due April 14th. And Gabby of our team will be going more into detail of that process later in this presentation. So next I want to go a little over our new revamped website. If you are a returning eAR reporter, you'll notice that the website has changed a little. And so I want to go through some key areas and how to find items that maybe you knew where it was previously and want to find it again. So the main page, everything is only one page. There's not 3 pages or 2 other pages as it was before. Everything is here. On the left, you'll see a link for subscribing to our email list. Jonathan Schwady will be going through a little bit more discussion on how to do that in his presentation. And I already went over the important dates and events. And then there's some quick links to some areas that may be of interest to you all. On the left, you have a little description of the eAR in bold, and there's a hyperlink to the technical reporting order that was issued to all public water systems requiring them to submit the eAR. This technical order should have been also included, the link in the announcements that were sent out to all public water systems. I'm going to be focusing now on the Learn More section of the website. And at the bottom here is a hyperlink to that website. We will be posting the presentation and video, the presentation slides and video on our website, probably within the next 1 to 2 weeks. So please stay tuned and I'll show you where to find those. So the first section is the login and reporting information. This section provides links to the Division of Drinking Water page. The eAR portal homepage is where the reporters go to complete their survey, which and then the eAR user guidance, which Jonathan Schwady will be going into more detail on that here shortly, and a description of information collected for each section of the eAR. Next section, and these sections are all expandable and truncated, so you can close them and open them as needed. The next section here is background and frequently asked questions. This section gives us a brief history of the eAR, a list of eAR stakeholders, both the drivers of the eAR collection and the users of the eAR data. Information on eAR input form, link to the FAQ document, which again, Jonathan will describe more later, and the list of legal authorities requiring the eAR annual reporting requirement. The eAR technical assistance resources section, this is one that may be very useful to the reporters. This section gives self-guided resources, including the eAR guidance document. And this is where the reporter, these trainings will be posted, and along with the slide documents of the presentation. And then we also include any procedure documents that any sections where we need to describe a little bit more on how to complete that section. Those will be included in this section. And then we have planned to upload some tutorial videos. They are not uploaded yet, but they are coming soon. And we also have information on how to get a hold of your regulator for assistance, which Gabby will be going into detail. And then we also have on this page how to get the assistance from the third-party provider. And again, Gabby will be talking about that. The next section is eAR data downloads. This section is for those stakeholders who are looking to access the eAR data collected on a whole. We currently host data reporting year 2021 and back. We will be providing a new data refresh here at the end of the month, and there are several reporting year data sets available to download from, and the instructions are also included in this section. If you need assistance with this section, there is an email link at the bottom of this page, and I believe it's our eAR main email link to our general email box. So please reach out to us if you need assistance. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Jonathan Swady, and he's going to talk about getting eAR announcements.
All right, thank you, Wendy. So my name is Jonathan Swady. I'm an environmental scientist with the Data Support Unit, and I will be going over how to get eAR announcements. Next slide. Next slide. All right, so one of the services that we provide is an email subscription service. So as if you navigate to the electronic annual report homepage that Wendy was just going over, and you look over to the right-hand side, you will see an eAR email distribution list box. Now, in that box, you can select the subscribe to our email list that is depicted by that red arrow. And you can receive eAR-related email notifications or any other topics that are water-related that we offer. Next slide, please. So when you select that link, it takes you to the State Water Resource Control Board email list. Now from here, you can choose down those drop-down boxes that Wendy was talking about. Same kind of format here, you select a box and it gives you a topic which to choose from. Now the red arrow is pointing to the electronic annual report general information, but if you want to select any other topic to receive emails from, you can also do that as well. And I'm pretty sure there's not a minimum or maximum amount of topics that you can receive emails from. So to subscribe, in the email subscription form box, you put your email address in, and then your full name, and then hit subscribe, and you should be good to go on your subscription. Now, if you subscribe, and then you want to unsubscribe, you can do that as well. Next slide, please. Now, on the bottom of an email of the topic of your choice that you've chosen, when you get that email and you decide that you want to unsubscribe, there's going to be a link at the bottom of that email. It's going to be unsubscribe link. And that red arrow is pointing to where you would find it on your email. So to unsubscribe, click here and you would just select that link and you should be able to unsubscribe. Now note, you will receive emails from public@info.waterboards.ca.gov. So when you sign up and subscribe to that email, just make sure to look out for that email address. Next slide. All right, next we're going to talk about user guidance document and frequently asked questions. These are two documents that were created to help you out in filling out your eAR. So the first one we're going to talk about is a user guidance document. So what does it contain? So here's a snapshot of the table of contents. So it goes over what it is. If you're new to the eAR portal, if you're a first-time registering for the first time, how to choose your water system, how to associate it, and then how do you report on it once you associate it. If you're a returning user, if you're starting or submitting, adding or editing your unfinished eAR. If you've submitted your eAR, what to do if changes need to be made. The details, including how to print a PDF, clear and reset your entire report, bulk data survey, upload, download, uploading documents, you forgot your password, the eAR Reporter homepage information, as well as updating your contact information. So if you have any questions regarding any along these lines, take a look at this document and you should be able to hopefully figure it out. Next slide, please. So how can you find this user guidance document? So you can find it in two places, but first we're going to touch on the eAR Water Board's website. So that first website, the homepage, electronic annual report homepage, that when you were talking about, if you go there and then you select the eAR Technical Assistance Resources tab, that'll open up and to the self-guided resources. Now that first bullet point where the arrow is pointing to is eAR user guidance document. You select that link, a hyperlink, you should be open up the user guide document. Next slide, please. So what's new for 2022 reporting year user guidance document? Well, this year it's geared towards first-time users that are creating an eAR for the very first time. It was put in a steps type format to make creating the eAR for the first time easier and more intuitive. So the snapshot on the right-hand side here shows kind of the format in which it is. Step 1, go to the eAR web portal. Step 2, first time registering, logging in, and these should be instructions on how to do that. Next slide, please. So the second location which you can find it, the user guidance document, is going to be on the eAR portal. So once you log in and you're about to start your eAR, there's going to be some links here that you can navigate to. So the first link is going to be the user guidance document. And this is another way to access that document before you begin your eAR or anywhere along that journey. All right, next slide. All right, the next slide is going to be frequently asked questions. So if you've already started your eAR and you have questions along the way, refer to this frequently asked questions. We've conglomerated all these questions over the years into one document, and look through this document and you should be able to hopefully find what you're looking for to help you out with your eAR. So some questions, for example, that are answered are: when is this year's report due on? What user guidance is available? Touched on earlier. Navigation and access. How can multiple users register for a water system to complete the eAR? As an example. Then provide answers to those as well. As you can see on the right-hand side here of the table of contents, I'm not going to go over every single one because it's quite a bit, but there's a lot of content here that are used to help people fill out the eAR. Next slide. All right. So how to find the frequently asked question document. So this is also found in two places, but first is going to be electronic annual report, back to that homepage that we've talked about. Now that second slide or that second tab is going to be background and frequently asked questions under the learn more. If you open that up, you're going to take you to this, what we see on the right-hand side here. And where the red arrow is pointing to is going to be the hyperlink to frequently asked questions. You select that, and that should open up your frequently asked questions. Next slide. All right, Gabby.
Hello, my name is Gabriela Gutierrez, and I am an environmental scientist with the Data Support Unit, and I'm going to be going over getting assistance with the eAR. Next slide, please. So as you have seen, all of our resources are available on your eAR portal homepage. I'm going to give a quick recap of what we have already gone over. So we've gone over the user guidance document, the water systems frequently asked questions, the eAR Assistance Water Board's website. Now I'm going to be going over who and how can get in contact with someone if you're needing assistance with the eAR. Next slide, please. So if you're having any general issues accessing your portal, any bugs, any suggestions or complaints, you would be contacting the customer service support. And how to get in contact with us: in your eAR portal homepage, you'll see the help button. And you just click on that. It'll bring down this drop-down menu, click on contact, and the email that you see on the right-hand side is the email that you would contact us. Next slide, please. We highly encourage you to reach out to your district offices or your county local primary agencies to assist you in completing the eAR. Now, how do you get your district offices contact information? In the eAR Assistance Water Board's website, under Learn More, if that first red arrow where it says eAR Technical Assistance Resources, you would click on that, and then you would scroll down to Regulatory Assistance. And that first bullet point there with the red arrow where it says DW District Office Contact Information, you would click on there. And then what you're seeing here on the right-hand side of the map is all the district offices and their contact information. Next slide, please. Now, if your regulating agency is a county local primary agency, how to go about finding their contact information, you would, same way, you would go under the Learn More in the eAR Assistance website. And you would go to eAR Technical Assistance Resources under Regulatory Assistance. And that second bullet point where the red arrow is pointing at, which says County Local Primary Agency Contact Information, it will open up a PDF file that looks similar to what you're seeing here on the right-hand side. It's about 5 pages long. I just took a screenshot of this first page. You would just find your corresponding office, local primary office that your system is associated to. Next slide. Now, let's say you are a new user and you have no idea who your regulating agency is. Now, how to find them is on your eAR portal homepage. If you see where that red arrow is on the top left, where it says Public Drinking Water Watch, you would click on that, and then it would open up what is shown here at the bottom left corner. You would put in your water system number, or you can also put in your water system name, and you would click on Search for Water Systems. Once you do that, what's shown here on the right-hand side is the water system details. And you will see what is in the red square, Division of Drinking Water District / County Health Department info. As you can see for this system, their regulating agency is District 9, and the phone number and email is there, found there. Next slide, please. Now, as Wendy mentioned, we do the State Water Board offers assistance for water systems to help complete the eAR through Division of Financial Assistance. And so this is a third-party provider, and it's free if you qualify. And if you're needing to request assistance, you would find it again. It's in the eAR portal homepage in the Technical Assistance for Reporting to DDW. Next slide, please. Once you click on that, it's going to open up this form, this technical assistance form. You would complete it. And two things to note is you're going to email it to the email that is highlighted on the technical assistance form up above in yellow, or also it's the same email that I also put here on the left-hand side in red. Second thing to note, the application, as Wendy mentioned, the application deadline for this technical assistance form is April 14th of this year. Next slide, please. Now, if you get stuck in a certain section of the eAR and you need help, every single section has an email for help on this page, as you see where the red arrow is pointing to. If you click on that, you are going to get this new tab in your web browser. And here is, as you can tell, it you're filling out for the 2022 eAR. It has your water system name and also the section that you are needing assistance in. Make sure that you do put in your name, your full name, and your phone number if we need to contact you. And then in the email text is where you're going to be describing your problem, the problem you're having, the steps you took before encountering the problem, and any other relevant information to assist us in troubleshooting. Once you're done typing up your email, you press send, and then as it says there, you can close this tab and then you can continue on filling out the eAR. Next slide, please. And this is just an example of the email sent to the reviewer and what they can see. As you can see, it helps out what's already on there is your water system name, number, and the section you are needing help on. It also shows the name. Okay, we're not going to do a poll. I'm going to hand the mic to Wendy.
Yes, if everyone should be able to see a poll on your screen, go ahead and fill it out. We were just curious on what our audience's roles are with the eAR today. Can everybody see it? Oh, no, you can't. How about now? Can you see the poll? Yep, it's working. So everybody should be able. Wow, awesome. I'm glad to see that majority of our people on this training are reporters. Awesome. Okay, give it a few seconds. Looks like things have calmed down. Thank you for participating. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, share the results. We have about 78% of the people on this call are reporters. 13% are representatives of water systems who don't need to are reporters. 4% are regulators and 5% are water system contractors. Thank you for providing that. Okay, our next presenter is Stephen Burke, and he's going to talk about reporting process.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Can you guys hear me? I guess I should probably.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, I'm Stephen. I am the co-chair for the eAR. If you've been around for a while, you would have heard my name. I've been managing the eAR for the last 6 years, and we've got a really good team around us this year, as you can tell. So the first slide I'm going to go over is who are the water system reporters. So you just heard 4 out of 5 of you on the call here are in the eAR portal. You have registered, you have some affiliation to the water system that makes you need to be a reporter, or at least have access to the eAR portal. So here's some of the examples of who we might expect to be in the eAR. Maybe you're the administrator, the financial contact, the operator, funding, emergency, legal, owner. You may not have to report on the actual eAR, or maybe you have a portion of the survey to report on, or maybe you're just accessing some of the documents. But generally speaking, any individual that's affiliated to a water system with one of these roles may very well be in the eAR portal. Next slide. So here's the 3 features from the eAR portal. So these are what we've developed, what we manage, what we continue to build out as appropriate. So this includes registering into the eAR portal. So that's creating your account and setting up your water system management. So this is a process of requesting your water system. And then that's actually outlined in the user guidance document that Jonathan went over a little bit earlier. So you can find that in the slides that when they're shared. Reporting to the eAR survey in the middle here, that's the second feature of the eAR. So every year there is a new survey released for the previous calendar year, and you can start that survey, submit it, and then process the completion process. You can also access historical eARs. And then in the third box here, document upload and download, we have a number of documents, and we'll go kind of through what's on there, what's available. You can download or you can upload new if it's relevant. And so that may be why you're in the eAR portal. Next. So when you're starting a survey, this is pretty much the most important portion of the eAR. You're going to be from your eAR homepage, you'll see 3 dashboard options: eAR reporting, document upload, and arrearages program. We're only going to be going over the top 2. Arrearages is not relevant to this discussion, but it's in the eAR portal. So for the eAR reporting, you can see that there's a line item here below that says you have, and there's a number of 2022 eAR reports needing to be started. And when you click on that number, if you have a number that's there, it'll prompt you to this begin eAR page where you can select the water system you'd like to start, and you can highlight them and then press begin the eAR to go to the next slide and start the eAR. Next. It's important to note that when you are starting the eAR, whatever contact information you've already provided in your My Profile, the same information that's registered when you create an account, it's going to then pre-fill into the eAR, specifically section 1, report started by. And once you've started the eAR, there's really no way to reset these fields. So we're aware that it can be a little bit troubling when you have like a title that might have changed and it's not able to be updated. But hopefully you guys can catch that before you start the eAR. You can update your contact information, make sure it's current, and then proceed in your submission process. Next slide. And finally, when you're submitting the eAR, there's going to be similar fields that look like they did on section 1. So at the bottom of the finalized section, it says report submitted by. Again, My Profile contact information will be pre-filled into these fields once you, as the eAR reporter, select to submit the eAR, as you can see in the red box there. So these fields are intentionally blank. We get a lot of questions on that. So just go ahead and press the submit button and it'll populate these values. If you have noticed that maybe some contact information was incorrect when you started the eAR, you can always update it and then submit it, and then it'll record your more current information. Next slide. When you've submitted the eAR, it goes through a revision process. You're probably familiar with this if you've participated in the past. You have one of two options. It can either be accepted or it can be rejected by the regulating agency that's tasked with the review process. So this might be a county LPA, or it will more likely be a district representative. And so if the eAR is accepted as complete, you'll receive an email that says your eAR has been accepted. If it's been rejected, you will receive an email saying the eAR has been rejected. And these emails that result as a acceptance or rejection status, they are sent to all eAR reporters. So you just have to be affiliated with the water system to get that email. If it does get sent back for needs revision, a comment is provided in the email body, and you guys will have an opportunity to link back to the eAR portal, go make those changes and resubmit appropriately for another review process to determine whether it's accepted or rejected. And that cycle will continue as long as it takes. Sometimes the eARs get stuck and they end up not getting the completion status, which is something we try to avoid. So if you do have any questions, one of the fastest ways of solving some of these issues is just contacting your regulating agency directly, whether it's email or phone. Maybe you know the staff assigned to your water system. If you don't know, go ahead and refer back to the slides Gabby went over with the map and the Public Drinking Water Watch contact information you can find available online. Next slide. So here's some examples of what you might see for an email that's coming to you as the water system reporter. So in these cases on the left, an eAR has been started for a water system number 0800548. You can see the name of that water system is in the email body, Klamath CSD, and it shows who started the eAR, their email contact, and the date that it was started. If you have any questions about that, you can always reply to get our customer service. And a lot of times we get emails that say, hey, this person's retired, or hey, we have some change in contact information that this person no longer needs to be emailed. So I'll go over that in the upcoming slide. If it's submitted, you'll get something similar to the right side where a water system eAR has been submitted and the similar body of the email is sent. Next slide. So going over the document upload and download process, really high level, you can see there's 5 selection options from consumer confidence report to disadvantaged community certification to lead service line reports to the water quality emergency notification program, the ENP. And then there's finally residential rates. We no longer collect the LSL reports. If you go into that view, you'll find the reference to the upcoming changes. Otherwise, you might very well need to update your CCR or your CCR certification. And then if you wanted to make changes to your DAC or your residential rates, those are actually in the survey. So you can access those in the survey itself, or you can access those directly through the document uploads channel. And the ENP is, it's important to note, we do have some guidance available in the user guidance document that goes over the upload. If you have an ENP that's already been uploaded, it's important that you actually contact your regulating agency directly to make sure that they can be the ones to upload the new and reviewed ENP. We have a process we're still establishing, but currently if you already have an ENP, make sure to reach out to your regulating agency to get the proper one uploaded. And this is an example of the email notification process that's related to document uploads. So on the left, if CCR is uploaded, then all the water system, then the water system reviewers would get an email. So this is actually examples of what goes to the reviewers. There is a receipt copy that's sent to you as the reporters. Again, it'll be to all reporters, and it'll just confirm that the upload was made. And the reviewers also get these notifications to go through a review process. Next slide. And then I mentioned earlier, we've got a process that includes your ability to remove your affiliation to your water system. And that's sometimes overlooked in the past. And so wanted to kind of remind everybody here that if you do have any issues as to a cause for removing your water system, maybe you had an employment change, retirement, maybe you just want to stop the email notifications. And if this is any of your colleagues' concerns, go ahead and provide these instructions to actually remove the water system through their managed water systems module available through My Profile. They can highlight the water system on the right that's already added, and then they can select remove in the middle. This should stop any of the email notifications related to this water system. Cool. And we will go into this portion of the reporter training for sections 1 through 4 for the 2022 reporting year. Next. So as you're familiar, there's a survey design with the header buttons at the top or footer buttons at the bottom. The header buttons, they are available for you to navigate from section to section without, you can jump around, so you don't have to go sequentially. Conversely, if you choose to scroll to the bottom of every section and use the footer buttons, you can go to the next, section, or you can go to the previous section. And we did update the title of the survey this year, made it a little bit cleaner. Next. So water system information. This is section 1, and you can see it's pretty small text. So if you guys wanted to actually look at the slides when they're available for any additional information, or refer to the template of the PDF download for your eAR, you can do that as well. This includes pre-filled information for your water system, including your basic information, as well as your assigned regulating agency. We did have a couple of regulating agency changes this last year. So you just keep an eye on that. Maybe you may very well have had a regulating agency change for your water system. And there's going to be a DAC portion on section 1, and we'll go over that in more detail in the end of this presentation. Otherwise, you can go to the next slide where we'll drill in on the specific things to note. So this is on section 1. Just kind of wanted to zoom in here and highlight that if there's any answer fields shaded yellow, these are mandatory questions. They must record an answer. And if there's any answer that's shaded the salmon color, those are conditionally mandatory questions, meaning that they're dependent on another question. So if you answer, yes, I have recycling water systems facilities, then you're going to be required to answer a few of the questions. Or if you answer no on a specific question and maybe there's no additional dependencies, then you can go forward to the next section. And the way to find out if something's required or not is through the finalized section, where all the errors are listed out for you to review. Next. Section 2 through section 4. These are going to be very similar in that they're all information that's coming from our SWRCB database. So I mentioned that the water system details from section 1 are pre-filled. Those are largely coming from our SWRCB database, which is the database of record that's sent to the US EPA. And so we collect this information in the eAR and we make the updates in the SWRCB database. So this data that you're seeing here on the section 1, section 2, section 3, they're all coming pre-filled from SWRCB. So if you're seeing something that maybe hasn't been updated or looks like it's coming in, the pre-fill is incorrect, a good idea would be to go down to the bottom of that section, begin the email for help to your regulating agency, and strike up an email that says, why does this information look different? And so if there's information that maybe didn't make it into SWRCB, or maybe it was collected in the eAR in an incompatible format or was invalid, may not have made it into SWRCB. And so we want to make sure that whatever you're seeing in this pre-filled data is still accurate. So largely this portion of the reporter training is going to be about reviewing and validating that the information is still current. If you are changing contacts, you can go from editing existing contacts in subsection A of contact section by checking the edit contact checkbox. Otherwise, you can select remove contact. You must select edit contact to make any changes, and you cannot change the first name or last name. If you have a first name or last name changes, you can go ahead and scroll to the bottom and add new contacts. Unfortunately, we have to start a brand new contact if there's any name changes whatsoever. Next. Section 3 for population. This is no changes from the previous year. We're pre-filling information from SWRCB, including the total population at the top, along with the last date that was recorded. And we're also giving you the individual populations if there's different types, along with the annual operating period. So you may edit those fields that are the salmon shade, and those are conditionally required. So if you're a community water system, you are required to have a residential population. If you are a transient non-community water system, you're required to have a transient population. And if you're a non-transient water system, then you're required to have a non-transient population. So those are the examples of how that requirement is used. Additionally, if you have a method used to determine your population using that drop down, if you select other, you will need to enter what that method is in the text box below. And at the bottom of this page, there is an example of what the wholesalers will see. So there's 50 wholesalers across the state approximately, and that they were only collecting the wholesale population. So this is the number of residents served by the water systems purchasing water. And so that information should be readily available and known for those wholesalers. Next slide. So section 4 is a little bit unique in that it's not being pre-filled from the eAR, or I'm sorry, from SWRCB. So this information, we are providing you a summary of what was previously reported from the prior year. So you can see in this example on the far right, there's 2021 total. And then on the second column from the right, there's the 2022 year total. So that's a total of the column 1 unmetered and column 2 metered potable water service connections. So those are all yellow because they're required values. So you have to go ahead and enter any value, even if it's just 0. And then the summation of unmetered and metered provide a total connection count for that category. So it might be single family residential, multifamily residential, commercial, institutional, industrial, landscape irrigation, and agricultural irrigation. You may also have inactive connections. You can list those at the bottom. What we're really looking to do here is make sure that we're able to do a summary of the connections in our SWRCB database. Multifamily residential is kind of complicated because it could be considered commercial when we entered into SWRCB, and landscape irrigation is generally affiliated to commercial as well. So in the way we enter that into the US EPA's database, it kind of prohibits our ability to pre-fill this from SWRCB. So right now we require this information every year, and we appreciate your guys' patience in reporting this process. Next slide. So the next brown bags that we will have, as we reviewed earlier, we'll go through sections 5 through finalize. So we recommend, if you haven't registered already, go ahead and register for those Zoom invitations at those brown bags, and we'll see you there. Thank you, everybody.
Great, thanks, Stephen. The next section we'll have is Gabby's going to talk to us about the disadvantaged community fee reduction section of section 1.
Next slide. Awesome. So how to know if, when you're applying for your DAC fee reduction, are you a small water system or a large water system? For small water systems, if you have less than 1,000 service connections, you are considered a small water system. If you have greater than or equal to service connections, you are considered a large water system. And this is important to note when you are going to be applying for DAC fee reduction. Only community water systems are eligible to request a DAC fee reduction. The DAC fee request must come from the public water system. And to highlight, no information submitted to regulatory agency on behalf of a public water system will be accepted. Next slide, please. Now, if you are going to be, this is applying for a new request, so you currently do not have a DAC reduction fee, whether you're a small water system or a large water system. So again, I'm going to highlight, you currently do not receive a reduction fee. You are going, and this is found in section 1B. You are going to check the disclaimer box, and then you are going to complete and upload the DAC certification form. And to get that DAC certification form, it's highlighted in yellow there where the big red arrow is, says click here. Next slide, please. Once you click on that, it's going to open up this certification form. This is how it looks like. Next slide. You must, the top 3 fields are, when you open up in PDF, they're going to be shaded red. So those are fields that you must put information. So your water system name, your public water system number, and then service area median household income. Now for your MHI data source. So how did you get that MHI number that you put in? If you check marked American Community Survey, that's how you found your MHI number. That number must match the number that you entered up above in the service area median household income. Now, if you checked on income survey, you're going to have to attach a document to show how did you get that number. The same thing if you click on other, make sure that you do please write in the data source that you got your MHI from. That second part where you see check yes or no, this is just, you are saying that your system does meet the definition of a disadvantaged community. Next slide, please. And then the second half of that form, you're going to put in your name. This is just certifying that everything you have put in is true and correct. Make sure you put your signature and you sign. You put your signature and then you also date it. Next slide. Now, this is for small water systems. So what I was just talking about beforehand, that was new requests. Now, this is for small water systems that you are currently receiving DAC fee reduction for billing cycle 2022 and 2023. all you have to do, again, this is you're currently receiving, all you have to do is just check the disclaimer box. Next slide, please. Now, if you are a large water system and you're currently receiving DAC reduction fee, then for the billing year 2022 to 2023, you're going to check the disclaimer box, and you are also going to complete and upload the DAC certification form, which is the same one that I showed above. Next slide, please. If your water system does not meet the requirements, you are not going to receive a DAC fee reduction. In August of this year is when we will start looking over we'll start reviewing the applications, and then based on the reviews, systems that are approved to receive the DAC fee reduction will be applied to the billing year 2023 to 2024, and it's normally mailed in December 2023. You'll receive an invoice in the mail. Next slide, please. All righty, Wendy,
Okay.
I'm going to hand off the mic.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, this is starting to wrap up our training today. I want to give a plug for the next training. Brown bag is April 5th at 11:30 to 1, and it's going to go over sections 5, 6, 7, and some drought requirements. So if you're interested in attending that training, please register online on our eAR website if you haven't done so already. So we're going to go into comments and questions, and I'm going to hand the mics off to Gabby and Jonathan to manage those.
Okay, I can start off with the Q&A that was sent in the chat. Someone asked, is there a maximum number of water system representatives that can be registered with the eAR portal?
I want to say no.
No.
Stephen, do you concur?
No, we've never hit the maximum as far as I know.
Okay. Second question, are state small water systems less than 15 connections required to submit an eAR?
No, they're not considered public water system.
Okay. Next question, I am a new reporter. Should I use the previous reporter's information or create my own account with all new information? Will using the previous reporter's information allow me to access previous year's information, or will the water system number allow me to access the previous years?
It'd
Stephen?
be the latter. So this means that no matter who you are, you have the same access. So as long as you're affiliated with a water system, you'll have previous year access. You'll have previous year report access.
And per IT rules, we, our DIT, were actually required to have your own login and not use others' login credentials. So we highly encourage you to use, register with your own email and password and associate yourself to the water systems that you would like eAR access to.
Okay.
This is highly, we're finding, you know, and if those people ever, the email address is inactivated or deleted, then we get kickbacks on undeliverables and we have to go ahead and unassociate those people from the water system. So it's highly encouraged that you manage your account with your own email address.
Next question, I'm going to read 4 more from this and then I'll hand it off to to Jonathan, but this is a long question. So it says, last year there were mandatory questions such as last tank cleaning. However, it was not applicable. It was not applicable and is required to be entered again. Who is responsible to ensure this? Sorry, it's just the chat keeps moving. Let me restart. Last year, there was a mandatory question such as last tank cleaning. However, it was not applicable and we had no date to put in. What do we do in this case? That's the first part of this person's question. I don't know if you want to answer that before I go to the second part.
So the
Don't think, sorry, go ahead.
so
Sorry.
the example related to this specific example, it wasn't so let me just take a step back. The mandatory question reference is actually inaccurate. So what's being said here is that there was a answer that was required, and that was not the case. It was a data issue where the data had to take an answer. So we had dates that were being recorded, knowing that the data would be invalid. And so in that last year situation, the workaround was to enter the date, even if there was no tank cleaning, and provide a comment below. And that was the workaround. It might have been 2 years ago. I think we might have even fixed it last year in the middle of collection period. But I just wanted to highlight, do your best to report the answer that you find as applicable as possible. If you have any questions about your data, go ahead and provide a comment at the bottom of the section. That's why they're designed for you to do that. So if you, if you want to put a disclaimer around like the fact of the matter in this case, there was no last tank cleaning and you're not able to move forward because it's requiring you to enter a date, then that would be what your comment would be, and you can proceed and there should be no issues.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
that answers that question.
The second part of the question is also each year I put in new contacts and update them, and the next year this information is not applicable and is required to be entered again. Who is responsible to ensure this information is updated annually and remains on the report?
That's a good question. So that would be your regulating agency. So water systems each have a reviewer on the other side, and the reviewer for the SWRCB data. So if any data is coming in from SWRCB, then it has to be reviewed for completeness and then entered into SWRCB appropriately. So if for some reason there's a change that was not updated and you're seeing the same data pre-filling into your contact information, or you're seeing, new contacts, maybe they never made it into your existing contacts. The best way to do that is actually going to reach out to your reg agency directly. If it's got to the point where it's a problem, and so you can actually use the contact my email for help at the bottom of my section, at the bottom of section 2, or if you have the regulating agency's map information with contact information, you can give them a call or an email, and that would be appropriate.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to read 3 more questions and then we can move it over to the hands raised. How does the state define inactive connections?
That's a good question for your regulator. I don't think we are technically have that answer.
Yeah, we don't have a help tip related to that specific answer. I think if I understood it in the past, it was disconnected from the, it relates to disconnection from the distribution system.
Yeah, severed, but you might want to just double check with your regulator to find that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Where can we find past year's submittals for our water system?
From your eAR homepage, when you're logged in, and you can see the options to view your eAR reports.
You can demo it, Stephen.
Sure.
While Stephen does that, I'm going to read the next question. How much is the DAC fee?
I do not know it off the top of my head right now, but it is available online and I'll put it in the chat.
Well, it's actually, it's a fee reduction. So I think it's
the fee reduction. Yeah. It's in the fee schedule, and actually the 23-24 schedule comes out close to July. So it may be different than what's online right now, but I'll put it in the Q&A.
And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm looking at my homepage as a user. You guys might be familiar with what we already demoed here. You can see there's some resources at the top, and then in the eAR reporting tab, you can see at the top it says your historical eAR reports. by clicking that, I can see the surveys for all the water systems I'm affiliated to, the statuses that they had from that reporting year, and then the dates that are affiliated to those status changes. And if you have any issues, you can always sort by the survey number. Something to note is it only goes back to 2017 reporting year. So if you have any issues getting access, if you're a new reporter and you need access to 2016 calendar year or before, go ahead and reach out to your regulating agency. It's probably going to be the quickest way to do it. Otherwise, you can always reach out to our customer service as well.
Thank you, Stephen. Alrighty, Jonathan, I'm going to let you, if there are any hands raised, you to take.
All right, thank you, Gabby, for that. So it looks like we only have one raised hand. Savannah Tabor, excuse me if I mispronounce your last name, but oh, all right, I guess not. Okay, so we have no hands raised. If anybody wants to raise them, go ahead and
I'll give a couple seconds to see if anyone wants to raise their hand because we have more in the chat, but I wanted to see if any hands were raised.
well, doesn't look like anything coming up. So Gabby, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay. From someone says, I am a returning reporter for 3 small water systems. I would like to change my email address. How do I do this? I see in my profile that I need to go to the guidance section, correct?
So the email is actually pretty significant change. Your email is your profile. So you actually are going to need to contact, you can actually, if you're already accessing that email, the guidance that we offer is to go ahead and manage your systems using the email that is no longer accessible to you and remove those water systems and save your changes. That will eliminate any bad emails that are being sent in the process. And that'll update our contact information. And then what you're going to do is register for your new account using that email. And then you're going to go ahead and request to approve or request to manage those water systems. And that email will go directly to the regulating agency and they'll approve you with that email change. And then you'll have all of the same access as you started with.
Okay, next question says, who normally completes the eAR report? The general manager of the water system or the chief water operator?
I don't think we have information on that.
Okay. Usually my bookkeeper and I complete it together. Is this okay? Or do you want specific information as to who is working on it?
The only reason for the information on who's working on it is because when we, like I think 3 years ago, we didn't know who started or submitted an eAR. And so we had questions about the information and we didn't know who to contact, especially when there was multiple individuals. So the only reason we're collecting that information about who starts and who stops the eAR or who's reporting on it is really just so that if we have questions, we can reach out. So whoever would be more appropriate to answer or liaison any questions that come back from the regulating agency would be best to start and submit the eAR.
Thank you. Next question says, how do we update population date on SWRCB?
The data population is migrated from eAR into SWRCB, so it's not an editable field. It's really just a read-only value for you as the reporter. So you can say, oh, our population data was updated last year, or in some cases you might say, hey, our population data wasn't updated for 30 years. So I think we just started showing that date so you guys can make sure that you saw when the last date of population change was updated.
Thank you. This person's asking specifically about section 4. Number of service connections of 2021 totals is pre-filled with data, but the data is from 2020. Who should I reach out to fix the auto-populated corrupted data. That would be customer service. Is that correct, Stephen? Wendy?
That's correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for
Okay.
reporting that.
Do you know if this training would possibly qualify as contact hours for treatment license requirements?
No.
Okay, this is specific to section 15E, storage tank reservoir inspection of the portal states the table below is pre-filled with storage tank and reservoir inventory submitted in last year's eAR. However, the information for last year was not transferred over. Will the data transfer over?
Correct. We had an error this year. So that should be fixed in the next 24 to 48 hours. And that relates to the pre-filled data for storage tanks. And there's also some other areas where there's pre-filled data that's not working. I'd hoped for it to be fixed sooner, but at this time, if you have any issues with the data not being visible, stand by and it should be done. It should be updated by the end of the week.
Hey, Wendy, this is specific to DAC. They're saying if we can provide more direction on how to get information needed on the American Community Survey website to apply for the DAC form, that site is not exactly user-friendly.
Yeah. I think you and I can work on maybe providing a little tutorial guide
Okay.
and we can post it online.
Okay, we have, I'm a newly registered as a reporter, but under eAR reporting on the homepage, I don't have an option to start the report, only to manage my water system, which I have already selected. Which can I expect to access? Not sure what this question is.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, I'm newly registered as a reporter, but under eAR reporting on the homepage, I don't have an option to start the report, only to manage my water system.
I believe you
They
need
haven't
to go to your-
added.
Sorry, I haven't added.
No, I'm sorry, you can go. I was going to reply to it, but
It sounds like the user did not associate themselves with a water system, so they need to go to their profile, log in, go to your profile, go way at the bottom. It says manage my water systems, and then go through the process. It's in the user guide, and associate yourself to the water system or water systems that you need to fill out an eAR for.
thank you. This is another DAC question. What fees are discounted? As far as I know, we pay the county and the water conservation district. Are there other fees?
Yeah, so and I think we failed to mention that this is only for state regulated water systems, community water systems that are available to get this DAC fee.
Thank you.
Any water system that's billed by the Division of Drinking Water or water boards is able to apply for this. If your regulating agency is a local primacy agency or a county, that would not work.
Okay. There's someone saying there's been an issue with the pre-filled data for treatment plants that is incorrect. Will that also be fixed?
If your treatment plant information is incorrect, that means you need to contact your regulating agency. That information is coming from SWRCB, so you should be able to see the information in your public drinking water watch. And if something's incorrect, your regulating agency can make the change, and then you can update the eAR in real time after the change is made by selecting clear and reset this section at the bottom of section 14 for treatment.
Okay, and the last question that we have so far says, last year the eAR asked for consumption numbers, only see this year's water produced this year. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm getting lost in the questions.
Yeah, it says, it's the very last one that I'm seeing. It says, last year the eAR asked for consumption numbers, only see this year's water produced this year. Is
So that,
correct?
yeah, so that means what he's referring to is section 6B table for water deliveries, or he or she, excuse me. And the consumption numbers are recorded if you have any sold potable or non-potable water recorded in table A1, or if you meter your connections. And that would be meaning that you have non-zero values in section 4 metered connections. If we have values that are that indicate that you're gonna meter or record your meter delivery water, then you'll see table B 6B. Otherwise, it's hidden from you and you don't need to see it, so you can just skip ahead.
Thank you. I don't know if there's any more questions or if we have any hands raised.
Scrolling down to the bottom. So you answered the one
Oh,
about the
wait,
buildings in a pool?
No. So that one
Okay.
just popped up right now. We have 14 buildings in a pool. Can we qualify for a small water system?
I don't think we can answer that question.
Yeah. Oh,
Would
Yeah, I would say refer to your county map or
your regulating agency.
yeah, based on your county.
Mhm.
And then, yes, this presentation is going to be, it's being recorded and it will be posted. Someone asked if this is going to be posted for future reference. So yes, this is going to be in 1 to 2 weeks.
So one of the things I wanted just to hit on as a reinforcement for everybody on the call, because we did get a lot of calls or references to seeing data that's incorrect. So to kind of summarize, if you're seeing data that's incorrect in section 1, 2, or 3, go ahead and you can either update that information and then resubmit, submit your results, or you can contact your regulating agency directly and then see about updating our core database with the regulating agency's help. So then that can actually be updated in your eAR once the change is made. And so that is available using the email for help in this section at the bottom of every section. That'll put you in contact directly with your regulating agency for you to discuss any of the data that's incorrect. And for section 4, thank you for flagging the pre-filled data is from 2020, not 2021. I'm going to go ahead and file a ticket for that. So I guess that will mean just go ahead and record your 2022 values. And if you need a reference to the previous year, use the old eAR. That would be the best path moving forward until we can make that fix in the next few days.
Thank you, Stephen. All righty. If there's no more questions, Wendy.
Yes, I want to thank all the participants on this call today. We had about 180 to 190, I saw at one point. And if you do have any issues, questions, please refer back to Gabby's section of who to contact. But if you just don't know and you just need to try to get a hold of somebody immediately, please feel free to email us at ddw.ear@waterboards, and it's plural, .ca.gov. And again, in April, we have another one coming, and I already forgot the date, but right here, April 5th. Please join us for the next 3 sections, and then we have a presenter talking about drought requirements. So, okie dokes, thank you all. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.